Hey, thanks for stopping by to Seawaywhiskywire. Tonight in the bar we got an absolute classic in the Ardbeg 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. Stay tuned. Hey, thanks for coming back. I'm Tyler from Seawaywhiskywire, and as I said before, tonight in the bar, the Ardbeg 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. Another great offering from our friends over at Ardbeg. It's kind of in the middle of their core range, but it's really the staple of that core range. So the core range of Ardbeg consists of the Wee Beastie at 5 years old, going into the Ardbeg 10-year-old next, followed by the Ardbeg Ano, into the Ardbeg Ugadel, and concluding with the Ardbeg Corrie of Wrekin. Great core range, all very good. I hope to get through them all eventually this year. So yeah, this is number 2. Wee Beastie was my very first episode, and so picked this bottle up and have spent a little bit of time with it, so we'll kick off and review it tonight. What can I tell you about the Ardbeg 10-year-old that already hasn't been said? Well, not a whole lot. It's been reviewed heavily. It's one of the most famous whiskeys in the world, definitely one of the most famous whiskeys from the Islay region. But yeah, it's a classic nonetheless, and we'll get into the specs on the bottle. So 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, and no color added. Ex-bourbon cask matured, which you'll see in the color here shortly after the pour. But yeah, very good specs on this bottle from Ardbeg, and honestly, I don't expect anything less from them. We'll get into the presentation of the bottle. There's not a whole lot to say. You know, I'm a big fan of Ardbeg, so I love the bottle. It's a classic green bottle here. You've got this lovely black, gold, and kind of greenish hue to the label, which is nice and big and boisterous. And the canister looks great. It's got this little bit of gold on the sides here and on the top, and on the back end it tells you a little bit about Ardbeg distillery and kind of the lore behind it. So yeah, you know, I'm going to give it a nice big pass on the presentation. Very, very, very good, and you know, wouldn't expect anything less from the folks over at Ardbeg. Yeah, let's get on to the pour here and just take a look at the liquid in the bottle here. Always get a good cork pop off them. Oh yeah, very good. So you can see right away with the ex-bourbon cask maturation only, and then the 10 years as well, you'll see right away that there's not a whole lot going on from color there. It's a really nice light straw, almost white wine-like, I would say. Hopefully you can pick that up on the camera. But yeah, it's very light in the liquid. But yeah, big on flavor, and we'll get into that here shortly after we take a look at this. But yeah, as far as like how thick the liquid is, I can tell you it's got some nice legs on it here. You can see it kind of sticking to the side of the glass. But yeah, overall light color and thicker liquid. So let's get on to the nose. But before we do, if you've got anything Islay on your bar or anything from Ardbeg that you'd like to pour and drink along with me, please do. Please feel free to and drink along with me. It makes the experience a lot better for yourself, and I enjoy you guys drinking along with me on these videos. So yeah, like I said, we'll get on to the nose. Oh, very good. So very much at the very beginning, you get this nice leathery peat note to it. It's campfire peat with a bit of medicinal in there, but I would more likely say it's more leathery. It's a leathery peat. Like a leather wallet or a leather jacket that's kind of got some wetness to it. But yeah, very, very nice, very nice. It's not a stinky peat, it's not a dirty peat, it's a nice, clean, fresh, leathery peat. I get lemons on there as well as some limes. There's some kind of sweet icing as well, like a vanilla. Yeah, almost like a vanilla icing kind of, but you know, powdered sugar vanilla. You get some sea breeze on there as well. That ashy note to the end there. It's a salty, light ash to it. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's cigar-like, but it's like just, you know, the campfire's gone out for the night, had a little bit of dampness on it, and you get that sea brine, that sea air in your blowing in your face. Yeah, and just it's really, really hefty on the citrus at the beginning. I would say very clean, very fresh smelling spirit, and it's lovely, and really has nice that nice kind of like leathery peaty component that ties it all together. And again, it's not a real big clobber peat. It's not like the Kilhoman by any means. It's just a very nice, fresh, clean, light peat. Yeah, very nice smelling. We'll get on to the tasting notes now. Cilantro, to your health, and let's get going. Dive into this. Whoa. Okay. Very fresh flavors again. I get the lemons. I get the lime at the beginning. Campfire smoke. It's a bigger peat now, more so than on the nose originally, and it's very mouth filling. I get some vanilla in there and some oak. Not much on the oak. Get them coastal notes as well. That salt on your lips. That brine. I get a bit of pear as well. Some light pear. Some black pepper. Really at the end there, you get that black pepper. Some ginger on there as well. The nice light smoke off of a cigar. Some floral notes in there, a little bit of heather at the back end too. It's faint, but it is there. Lemongrass. And honestly, at the end, after the ginger flavor and that black pepper note subsides, I'm getting a little bit of banana, which is interesting. But yeah, very complicated for a small 10-year-old. It's I shouldn't say it's overly complicated. It's complex enough to keep you thinking, you know, where else are you gonna get some banana notes in a whiskey like that, right? Yeah, and it's your normal kind of everyday bourbon notes. You don't get any of that apple, which is kind of surprising to me, but you know, you get the pear and you get those citrus notes, and it's a very, very fresh spirit. It's not a dirty spirit. Like there is a little bit of smoke in there and some peat. That, you know, is it's very present and very much letting me know it's there, but it's not a clobber. It's very good, very fresh spirit. How many times have I said fresh in this review? Anyway, this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm getting. So yeah, so we're going to the finish now. I'm going to go in for another sip because I do love this spirit. It's a very good whiskey, and yeah, see what we can get on the finish if anything changes. So the finish is probably medium to long, I would say. It's very mouth filling, mouth coating, very oily. You get those briny coastal sea notes, that salt on your lips when you're done sipping. You can still taste it. It's very present in there. The peat hangs on. The peat does linger around a lot. You know, this is definitely not a dram you'd want to start your night with. This is something you'd want to have after dinner, or, you know, kind of the last dram of the night. Otherwise, you're going to be tasting Ardbeg 10 all the rest of the night, which, you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but, you know, it needs to be said. It's a very rich dram for being so lightly colored. And again, I think that's just a testament to the folks at Ardbeg there. You know, they bottle it at 10 years old. It's aged in ex-bourbon casks. It's not overly colored, very, very light in there. You know, the cask didn't impart a whole lot of color to it, and that's okay. And it's a quality product even with that, and it is very much a nice clean finish. Yeah, you're gonna have that peat on you for a little bit. Yeah, you're gonna have these big flavors hanging around, but I think it's kind of meant to do that. And it's still a very, very clean, fresh whiskey. You get those lemon notes, a lot of lemon, a lot of limes and citrus. You get the vanilla, you get the sweetness from the nose, and then you get that peat. And the peat is not like, again, it's a very cleaner peat, leathery peat, ashy kind of campfire notes. The spice on the end, it's not there for very long. It's there. You get those black pepper and those ginger notes, like ground ginger, you know, not the actual ginger root, but ground ginger. And then it gets into that nice long finish, and it's primarily peat and primarily very sweet. So yeah, very nice finish. and you know, very well-rounded whiskey altogether. You know, based on this, I can definitely see why this is one of the most popular whiskeys out there. I can definitely see why it's a staple for Ardbeg and why people continue to buy it to this day. And you know, I've heard different things about batch variations and, you know, people not getting, you know, it's not as good as it used to be or whatever. This is the second bottle I've ever had, and I can tell you there's not a lot of variance in it. It's a good whiskey. It's one I continue to go back to. And you know, on nights when we got the guys down here, Ardbeg's kind of one of those brands that people flock to. And usually when they flock to it, this is the one they flock to. I mean, I've only had this bottle for about a month, and you know, it's already down past half. That should tell you enough, tell you all you need to know about this bottle, and just, you know, how good it is and how approachable it is. So we get on to the value proposition now, because this is kind of one that is, you know, it's a staple product. It's readily available in my area. You know, it should be readily available pretty much anywhere. In Ontario, it's sitting around just south of 120 bucks. That's a little high, I would say, for, you know, is there better offerings out there? I wouldn't say there's better offerings, but I shouldn't say that. Would I say there's better offerings? I would say for less, yes, there would be. You'd have to go and kind of hunt them out a little bit and seek them out a little bit. This is one of those kind of drams that it's a staple and really should be on your bar. And if it's not on your bar, you should at least go to a bar and try it out and see if you like it. It's a great entry into Islay. It's a great entry into Big Pete. It's a great entry into ex-bourbon cask maturations and all of those, you know, enthusiast grade marks of, you know, 46% non-chill filtered, no color added, and really one of those whiskeys that you got to try. It's one that I'm going to keep on my bar. I really enjoy it. I like Ardbeg as a brand. It's got good integrity in my opinion, and yeah, it's consistent and good. So for 120 bucks, you know, what would I recommend you could go try instead of this? You know, the Kilchoman Macker Bay would probably be the next closest thing to it. It's got some sherry cask finish in there, but it's 100 bucks. And I mean, if you want to try it, go for it. There's no age statement on it as well. But yeah, I'm going to recommend that you buy, and in my opinion, I'm going to stock this. It's going to be one that I stock along with my Kilchoman Seneg. You know, as you go higher into the Ardbeg core range, can I say the same thing about, you know, the Ano and the Ugadal and the Corrie Reckon? You know, I've tried the Corrie Reckon and I've tried the Kilchoman Seneg, and you know, I'll get the Ardbeg Corrie Reckon if I can get a deal on it. But if it's still high in the price range, I'm going to stick with my Seneg. But yeah, just getting back to the 10-year-old, I'd recommend that you buy this and go give it a shot. It's a great bottle. Even at 120 bucks, you'll be pleased with the investment. Yeah, so that's it for the review of the Ardbeg 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey here from Seaway. So yeah, please like and subscribe down below. Leave your comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any friends that would be interested in this, please feel free to share the channel. And I just joined Instagram a couple weeks ago, and it's going pretty good, I would say. You know, I'm not super big on the tech stuff, but I'm getting there. So I encourage you to go out and seek out my Instagram channel at Seawaywhiskywire as well. And yeah, just wanted to send a quick shout out to Mrs. Seaway for the nice hat that she just made me here. Anyway, that's it. I'll leave you with that for tonight. Go out and buy yourself a bottle of Ardbeg and enjoy. Slanja, to your health. We'll see you around. Cheers.